Hey everyone, I'm Carrie Gillespie, and this is The Homestand, the official podcast of the Kansas City Royals. Each episode will bring on someone new to connect you in a fun new way to the Kansas City Royals. I'm so excited for our guest today. We are honored, humbled, excited, all the things to welcome Nicky Lopez to the show.
Than you for having me. I appreciate this.
Excited to have you here. What do you think of our set?
This is nice. I think I haven't been here since I got drafted, so this is pretty cool.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think we did a tour. I think it was like the minor league day or whatever it is in September or something like that, and we got a tour, and it's kind of changed a little bit. So this is really cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really great to see all this stuff here. We had to move a couple things out of the way to get this all in here, and everything is like so precious that you're just like, not trying to touch anything too much.
No, absolutely. And I think some of the cool parts is, you see Greinke and you're still playing with him.
And Salvi's over there. Yeah.
Still playing with him. I see a Singer jersey, which is really cool. So to be able to play with some of these guys, and they're still going, and their stuff is here in the Hall of Fame building. It's pretty cool.
I know. Really cool. Well, we're excited to have you here to chat some today and to get to know you a little bit more. I want to start out at the beginning. I would love to hear about what you were like as a child growing up in the Chicago suburbs of Naperville, Illinois. Tell us about it. What was Nicky like as a kid?
I was a sports junkie. Ever since I was a little kid, I was always out in the, whether it's the driveway, shooting hoops, throwing a football to myself.
Wait, throwing a football to yourself?
I would throw it really high in the air and run and catch it. Sometimes my parents would, I don't know if they still have video of that stuff, but they would, videotape me, because I love just going out there and just using my imagination, playing and, in the backyard, and I would be the hitter. I'd fake like I'm the pitcher, then I'd be the hitter, and then I would hit it, and there'd be a close play at, second base or home, and I would argue with a fake umpire, and I'm the umpire.
Did you have any friends by chance?
No, and I did. That's the thing, is I had a lot of friends, but like when I wasn't hanging with my friends, or when I wasn't hanging with my brothers, I was just out in the backyard, just doing my thing. So that was very fun, but I was fortunate enough to. Still am, fortunate enough to have a great family, a great support system. They, when they didn't want to hang out with me, or when they didn't want me to, play sports, I was always dragging them out there to play. So, my two brothers, Anthony and Bobby, very special to me. And then my mom and my dad. So they were there, and they still are here, through everything. So.
What, so two brothers, tell us the order. What are you in the order?
I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest.
I'm the youngest, older brother, Bobby, Anthony, the middle brother, and then I'm the youngest.
So I'm a baby child too, of 3. And so I know what it's like, but for you, what was it like growing up as the youngest? I always wanted to do whatever they were doing desperately. I wanted to fit in so badly and do what they were doing. Yeah.
So that was the thing, is I always wanted to do what they were doing. There was a age gap. So I was, 5 years younger than Anthony, with my middle brother, and 7 years younger than my oldest brother. But me and my oldest brother connected a lot on, video games, music. So we were always hanging out late, 2 to 3 a.m. playing video games. And then me and Anthony connected on sports. He played baseball at Illinois Wesleyan University. He actually won the D3 World Series when he was there, which is really cool. But I always wanted to play sports with them. I always wanted to, and the 5-year age difference, 7-year age difference, competition level is pretty. I mean, we're seeing it now in the big leagues, but it's a big gap. But I always wanted to go and play tackle football with them. But I was a small guy, but I always wanted to just compete and have fun and do what they were doing.
Did you feel like that made you better in the long run? Because I'm similar in that I have a brother, sister. My brother is 7 years older than me. Mm-hmm. My sister's 3 years older than me, but I didn't care. I didn't know that I was younger. I didn't care. So I think it made me better at sports, because I just wanted to fit in so bad with them that it propelled me. Do you feel like it propelled you too? Because as a kid, you just want to be as good as them. And then you realize when you start to play whatever age it is, you're like, oh, I'm better than everyone else because I've been playing at my brother's level.
Exactly. And that was the thing. It's like I always, I didn't really understand the age difference. I just wanted to do what they were doing. I just thought it was like the coolest thing, and just to be hanging with them and hanging with the older guys and doing that. But I took my bumps and bruises, which I think helped me, get over, the hump, or get over, competing with people my age. So, the tackle football and the endless amounts of bruises, and, playing basketball and, getting dunked on and, like, stuff like that, and like the cul-de-sac, and then, playing baseball and guys throwing harder and faster than I did. But I think it, led me to trying new things and trying to compete and trying to get to their level, and kind of sped up my process for sure.
Yeah, I totally believe that, and I can definitely relate to how that was when I was growing up. Did you try and play other sports, or what other sports did you play as a kid? I feel like when you're athletic, you do everything. You want to, soccer, football, whatever. What other sports were you playing?
Yeah, so I was actually fortunate enough. So my dad was a really good 16-inch softball player, and in Chicago, that's a big deal. They're not using gloves. It's a huge deal in Chicago, and he's actually in the Hall of Fame there, which is really cool. So I actually grew up on a baseball field. So ever since I was young, I was like, I want to be a professional baseball player. I want to be a big leaguer. I want to be a big leaguer. And I mean, now I could say I living out my dream, but I also really loved basketball, and I really love football. Given my stature, football was kind of, and my dad was actually a semi-pro football player. He has a letter actually what's hanging up in our house, a letter from Mike Ditka from the '85 Bears to come try out, which was really, really cool. And so he easily could have told me, play football, but he was like, you're not playing football. So I was like, all right, cool. So I was playing baseball and basketball all the way through high school, and then I think I made the right decision sticking with baseball. Yeah.
So those were your two sports. It was always going to be baseball for you. There was never any other thought in your mind?
No, I was always baseball. And that was, the sport that I was actually probably the best at. I loved playing basketball, but obviously, that wasn't going to go far. Yeah. You can kind of see, football, I played all the way up until high school, and then my dad's like, I don't want you to get hurt. Yeah. And I was like, you're right. So didn't do that. And then baseball was like the only sport where it's like, all right, we got something here. And my dad and my mom were pushing me baseball. My brother played baseball. My two brothers actually played baseball, but that was kind of the sport where it's like, hey, we might have something here. Just keep going. And then fortunate enough to play in college, and then now we're here. So I think I made the right choice.
You skipped a lot of steps in there, first of all.
Yeah.
When did you kind of, you get to the point, and you said it, there's a lot of kids who have the dream as a little boy, I want to be in the NFL. I want to be in the MLB. There's a lot of kids that have that dream, but the amount of them that it is actually tangible for them is very small. So when do you get to the point where you're like, wow, this is my dream and I could actually maybe make it happen? Was that a high school thing where you're like, if I put my all into this, I could make it? Or when did you hit that spot?
Right. I think there those little cartoon books that you make, or you write on the dotted line when you're a young kid, and people put, dentist or police officer or whatever it is. I put professional baseball player, and I know it's kind of cliche, or you hear the stories all the time, like, oh, you know how hard it is to get there. You should think about doing something else. Well, I was the kid who kind of, I wrote professional baseball player on the dotted line. Mm-hmm. But obviously it is hard to get to where we're at, and it wasn't until I had aspirations of it, but when I went to college, I thought it was really cool to be you go into education. So I thought it was going to be cool to be like a teacher coach. And that was something I went for about a half a year. And then I was like, oh, well, I have to do practicum hours. And I also had to go to practice, for Creighton. And so that won't work. So then I went to business school. So I was thinking of all this stuff of what I was going to do after baseball. Mm-hmm. And if you have, aspirations of being a big leaguer, you shouldn't be thinking about this stuff. But I was thinking about, what am I going to do after baseball? Because eventually baseball is going to be done. So went to the business school, and then it wasn't until my sophomore year of college when I went and played in the Coastal Plains League with Thomasville High Times, and I had a really good year. summer ball there. Played against Team USA, had a really good game against Team USA, and then that's when I got, a ton of letters from teams. I don't know how many there were, but that's when I started talking to scouts, and then it was becoming a reality. I'm like, wow, this might actually be where what's supposed to happen. And then luckily the Royals drafted me, and I know I'm missing some steps, but it was pretty surreal. So I think when that sophomore year of college that's when it jump started everything.
Tell us why you decided to go to Creighton, because, there's a lot of colleges in that Chicago area. I know you're a Chicago guy. You love Chicago. But why did you end up going to Creighton? I know there's recruiting and things involved in that, but were there other options that you looked at?
Yeah, there was some other options. I was looking at University of Illinois. I was looking at Central Michigan. I was looking at Wake Forest. My dream school was North Carolina. For some reason,
UNC?
UNC. I wanted to, play in the Tar Heel Blue and all that.
Well, look, here you are.
Yeah, exactly. So now we are now. But that was like a big dream of mine. But I had a close family friend, Mike Gerber, who played at Creighton. So I asked him, I was like, Mike, his brother is my best friend. And so I was like, Mike, do you like Creighton? What do you like about Creighton? So I was kind of asking him, and he's like, hey, why don't you come on a visit? So my junior year of high school, right before my junior year of high school, I went to visit Creighton, and I fell in love with it. It's 5.5, 6 hours away from home. So it's a decent drive. But if you want to get there, you can take an hour flight, which was nice. It was small. It was very family oriented. It was a type of small campus that you see the same people when you walk around campus, which is pretty crazy. But they really love athletics there. Really good volleyball. Really good volleyball team. My freshman year of college there, Doug McDermott was there, so basketball was crazy. We had the #1 soccer team in the nation, so that was fun. But they loved athletics. The obviously playing at TD Ameritrade was awesome, and I just fell in love with it. So that trip, Thursday to Sunday, I committed on Sunday.
Yeah,
and it gave me a chance to play as a freshman, which ultimately, whether you go to, I know people are always talking about go to SEC schools, go to ACC schools. Obviously that's nice. But if you don't play, that's the most important.
Yeah.
So I went to a school that was going to, even though I played third base as a freshman, they gave me an opportunity to play, and I ran with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it cool to be in Omaha then in AAA?
Yeah. So full circle.
Yeah.
I got drafted by the Royals, and not really knowing, because I grew up I was a Yankee fan because of Derek Jeter, and then I was a Cubs fan. So we grew up kind of watching those two, but then when I got to Omaha at Creighton, the Royals games were always on.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, so I was starting to become more of a Royals fan, and then come 14 and 15, before I even got drafted in 16, I was watching the Royals in the World Series. So we were rooting for them, at the bars or whatever it was. So we were rooting for the Royals.
At the library,
studying.
Evening.
Studying. But I was rooting for the Royals, and then, come 2016, I get drafted, and I'm like, wow, if I'm fortunate enough to get to AAA, I'm going to be playing, just 30 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
And then, was it 2.5, 3 years after I got drafted, I was playing in Omaha, and that was a really cool experience.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was a short experience, but it was a really cool experience.
So you mentioned getting drafted by the Royals. When you dream of playing in the big leagues, you really have this mentality, I would think, that any team you will take the opportunity from any team. You are just excited to be there. That is probably your mentality going into it. But to get drafted by the Royals, a team that that's the team. There's a lot of Royals fans in Omaha and Nebraska, and to kind of have that there and to be drafted by them, that must have been extra special.
Yeah, it was special. And I became friends with a lot of people at Creighton that were huge Royals fans. So not only was I getting drafted as, a Royal, but also I have a big following now that comes with it. A lot of Creighton professors and a lot of, people at Creighton were huge Royals fans, because it's either you're a Royals fan, it seemed like, or you're a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
Because there's no really closer team there.
No.
It didn't seem like a lot of people were rooting for the Cardinals, which was a little odd.
Glad to hear it.
So I got drafted by the Royals, and I was like, wow, my DMs and text and follows on Twitter and everything went nuts.
Yeah.
And so it kind of made it that much more special when I came back and played in Omaha, because it had a lot of people coming to watch me play, which was really special.
Yeah. Are there any other memorable parts of your minor league experience? There's so many levels to get there. And we've talked about this in other shows before, but it's like you dream of being a professional, you get drafted, you're a professional, but there's all these other steps. And then you get to the big leagues and you got more to do. So is there any other part of your minor league journey that was really memorable, or a moment that sticks out to you when you think back on that?
I think it was my first, I was in the minor leagues. I think it was my first real spring training. It might have been second. I wasn't in big league spring training yet. I was just in the minor league camps, and I get a text saying, hey, come see me on the major league side when you get to the ballpark. So I was like, okay. And so I was, a minor leaguer, not thinking anything of it, just trying to do my thing. And I get there and they're like, hey, you're going to be starting in the big league game. And at that point I was like, nerves, anxiety.
Yeah,
I'm like, what is going on? So I remember we were playing, it was either the Padres or Seattle. I know we were in Peoria, and it was the coolest experience of, to that day. Like it was so cool just to be seeing my name in the lineup, being a minor leaguer one day, and now you're playing with, major leaguers. So it was something really special. And I think that kind of sticks out to me, just in my minor league journey. And it kind of prepared me, going into that next season of, hey, it's not too far. If they're having you already playing in some big league games, it's not too far.
Yeah, that's so cool. I would like to know, tell us where your obsession with dogs started. To shift a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell us where your obsession
this is the important stuff. No, I don't. So we're a family. We're a dog family.
Yeah.
We don't no cats or nothing other than a dog. So when I was young, we had a Chinese Shar-Pei named Shelby. That was my first dog I ever knew. And then she had some hip issues, so then we went to another Chinese Shar-Pei named Kino, and that was the best dog I've ever had. So I fell in love with this dog, and then now we have Hank, which I think you guys see some of my stuff on social media, but Hank the Tank is now. But I just love dogs, love everything about them. I'm hoping to get a couple here soon, but I don't know. They just don't care if you're having a good day, bad day. I always make the reference. They don't care if you went 4 for 4, 0 for 4. They don't care if you just pitched a complete game shutout or you only pitch one inning.
You still got to pick their poop up.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
literally.
Exactly. But no, they don't care. They're still going to love you. That's all they know is they know you, and they want to just be, have fun with you and stuff like that. So it's just an awesome dog.
Yeah.
Or awesome animal.
A good way to keep you grounded too. I feel like, coming from, like you said, being in college and kind of, being a college guy, but then going through this all, becoming a pro, and you even mentioned the numbers on Twitter and stuff like that, and the blue check marks and that stuff's great. But how do you stay grounded in all that and know that stuff's great, what I do on the field is great, but Nicky as a person is where we need to make sure we're thriving? Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of, I could speak on a lot of athletes. We like when people try to get to know us other than a baseball player, or basketball player or football player, because there's more to us. Obviously we're given a platform, and this is our job, and we're chosen to play here, in the big leagues, but there's more to it. And that's why I'm very active in the community. I like to be active in the community. I like to lend a helping hand whenever it's just been something I've done since high school. Because ultimately, like you said, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Because baseball, it's not going to be for long. If you're a basketball player, it's not going to be for long. It's what are you going to do after that, and what are you going to do as a person and to help another person. So I think that's the most important thing. But I know a lot of people on obviously social media or the general public think we're just, baseball players or stuff like that, which is fine. But I like to show people what I like to do off the field and, what I do using this platform that I have.
Who you are outside of that.
Yeah.
Tell us, what do you like to do off the field? You are a video game guy.
I am.
What else do you like to do on your off days? Your fiance, Sydney, right?
Yes.
What do you guys like to do? How do you spend time together? Because it's tough. A lot of people are like, oh, you see him all the time, but it's not true. She probably doesn't see, you're gone. Like you're doing things. So you got to spend time with her when you can. What do you guys like to do?
Yeah. So she actually has a really good job. She works for Alice MedStaff, which is a travel nurse recruiter. So she's busy as well, which I really like about that. But when we're away from baseball, we try to, stay away from baseball as much as we can because, obviously when you're doing something for so long and then you go home, you try to just clear your mind. I play a lot of video games. I like Call of Duty, some sports games, Madden, 2K, stuff like that. But together we like to, obviously go out and have some drinks. We like to go to dinner. I personally, it's weird, but like over the past 2 years, I started making soup. I'm
big soup guy.
Big soup guy.
Do you know that it is 95 degrees outside right now?
I will order soup in 95 degree weather, or I'll order soup in 30 degree weather. So
this man is a nut, you guys.
Yeah, so I'm crazy. But no, I like that. We cook often in off season. Occasionally go to dog parks, or dog
barquet,
barquet, stuff like that to go pet some dogs. But other than that, though, it's pretty chill life.
Tell us some about your favorite restaurants. You mentioned food, going out to eat, like barbecue, or what is like your Kansas City go-to restaurants now that you've been here for a bit?
I got to throw out Jack Stack because Jack Stack, me and us and Jack Stack, we have a special sponsor. I'm sponsored by Jack Stack, which is really cool. They've been awesome. But I really like Prime Social, the
awesome.
Rooftop, which is really, really, really nice. Graham and Dunn is one of our favorite spots.
Yep.
I'm saying only majority Plaza area because we were out in the Plaza a lot. What else? We do when we do have time, we like to go to Hot Country Nights.
Yeah.
That's always fun. Just that downtown area is a blast.
Yep.
So we like to do that, like the up down, and then we found this. I mean, not found, but because it's been there. But Farina, it's an Italian place that we really like. So we try to go there a lot.
I was going to ask what your preference of food, like, you know what I mean, on an off day, like what is the thing you like, I got to have? Is it like pasta, barbecue? Like what are you going for?
Off day, I try to eat unhealthy.
I would believe it, yeah.
I try to eat unhealthy. Like the other off day that we had, I ordered, I think it was like McDonald's, and it didn't come, so I ordered Popeyes. So just try to eat unhealthy. That's just me though. Sydney doesn't really join me in that, so
she's over there eating her salad like a good girl.
She doesn't. I usually get Popeyes and then I get her like a biscuit because but other than that, she stays good with her dietary habits.
She's trying to lead by example, and you're just over there.
I'm like, I'm gonna order McDonald's and you're gonna like it.
Yeah. I have a question here for the gaming. My husband's a gamer too, and sometimes he's like gaming with like literal like 12-year-old boys, and I'm like, what are you doing? You are an adult man, like you're gaming. Like, have you ever had like a 10-year-old like realize who you are and be like, dude?
Well, so that was the thing is my gamer tag used to be the same as my, which was stupid, but same as my Twitter and my Instagram. So
it was easy to figure it out.
So yeah, if you're playing against me or with me, you're like, if they just search that, they'd be like, well, I'm playing with Nicky Lopez. So I had to change. I changed it because I realized I was like, I mean, this little kid's yelling at me, or I'm yelling at this kid. I probably should change it. So I changed it to something completely random that I will not disclose.
Yeah, don't disclose it. We don't want all the little kids in the Kansas City area everywhere coming for you. Yeah, I don't know what it is about baseball players and gaming. I know quite a few of you guys are game. I don't know what is it that makes you guys game? I don't know. Are you a golfer too? I feel like
I do.
Baseball players are golfers or gamers.
I do like golfing. I usually don't really golf during the season. Okay. But as far as gaming, it just takes your mind off of it. It lets you just relax and just go do something that you don't have to. You do every single day. Yeah. So that's one of the main reasons why I do it. It clears my mind, but obviously it can get toxic at sometimes when a kid's yelling at you.
Do you ever get really upset? Do they ever say something and you're just like, wow, that actually kind of hurt?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, obviously I can't say on air, but like, yeah, sometimes they're just yelling at you. It's like, I'm not trying to suck at this game. Like I'm trying to win just like you are, but I guess that's life. I mean, people yell at us all the time on the baseball field, and obviously we would love to go 4 for 4 every single day.
We're trying to hit the ball. I'm trying to lay this kill down or whatever you guys call it. I don't even know. You are, because you're a Chicago guy, you're a Bears fan. Mm-hmm. We've had talks about this because I'm a Wisconsin girl. I'm a Packers fan. Do you get to go to many Bears games in the off season, or what do you spend most of your time doing in the off season?
Off season, I haven't gone to a Bears game in a long time. It seems like, yeah.
You're not missing much.
No, yeah. Okay, easy. Because I have to live with it. Because Sydney is a Packer fan, and her whole family's Packer fans.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they're Packers fans. So they're Packers fans.
You could be so lucky to end up with a woman who's a Packers fan.
I don't like those colors. I don't like anything about it. But I went to a Chiefs game last year, which was awesome. I watched Salvi bang the drum, which was really cool. So hopefully one day I'll be able to do that. That'd be cool. That was my first game ever at Arrowhead as well. So I'm looking to go back right at the end of this season.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, to go with off season, I try to golf. We don't like cold weather. Me or Sydney don't like cold weather. So that's why we stay in Scottsdale.
There you go.
So we come back a lot to visit my parents, her parents. But other than that, we're enjoying the off season weather.
I don't blame you. I don't like it either, honestly. All right. We have some fun, like kind of quick hitting questions here. Cool. All right, so there tends to be a lot of really important parts for a baseball player's career, like a first home run, the cleats, the bat, all that other stuff. Where do you keep all of that stuff?
I send everything home.
Really?
Yeah, I send everything home, and then hopefully I'll have a house or condo or something like that.
Mom and Dad get it?
Mom and Dad get it first. They can enjoy it, and then if I get a house, maybe make a little man cave area out of it.
Tell us your favorite movie of all time.
Probably The Other Guys.
Really?
Yeah, which is kind of weird because obviously I don't know how many people had favorite movies as like comedies, but I love comedies.
You want to laugh,
and which is totally opposite than what Sydney does. She likes the horror, the scary, the stuff like that. So I'm just like, I'll stay away from that. I just do the comedies.
So when you guys watch those movies, you're the one that's screaming and she's like sitting there with the popcorn.
Or I'm sitting there on my phone like trying to like not pay attention. Yeah.
I love it. If you weren't playing baseball, what do you think you would be doing? You kind of talked about this before, that you did some other things.
Yeah.
But I heard you say before, I don't know when this was, but that you thought about getting into marketing. Have you ever thought of becoming a part of our creative team?
Oh, maybe.
After you're done playing.
Maybe there's a way that I can do the creative team while I'm still playing too. So maybe balance.
Let's get on a hybrid, you guys. Let's get this working.
No, but so I always thought I wanted to be a teacher, coach.
Yeah.
That's why I did education. Due to having to do practicum hours and all that stuff while I was at college, I wasn't able to do that because I would have to miss practices and stuff. So I went into marketing, but I think I would have to stay into sports.
Okay.
I always have this conversation, what am I going to do after hopefully a really long baseball career? Mm-hmm. What am I going to do? And I would go nuts if I didn't stay into sports.
Yeah. You'd be a great coach.
Yeah, I would like to, but it's like playing again.
Yeah,
it's
the scheduling
and stuff. So I mean, if that's something that obviously that's down the road,
mm-hmm.
But I would have to probably stay into sports.
Yeah. Best hair on the team.
Best hair on the team. Oh boy, who has good hair?
Well,
I mean Barlow has like the longest hair, right? I
once overheard you ask him if he puts anything on his hair, and he said water.
Yeah, I was like, that's not good for your hair. Because I had long hair, and I was like very into it, but then I would wake up and it would be everywhere, and I'm like, all right, I'm getting sick of this, so I cut my hair. Hopefully, maybe I'll grow it back out. But Who else has good
What
hair?
about Bob right next to you in the locker room with his little mohawk thing he's got going on?
I do like it because he owns it.
Yeah.
He does own it. Which is like
the mohawk
I'm like,
mullet.
Bob, do you ever think you'd like maybe not have the mullet? And he's like, I don't know, I like it. I'm like, all right, that's good.
I
And
told him he
that's all
probably would blend in a little more. Once his girlfriend told me about a story he got noticed in Chipotle or something. I'm like, dude, it's your hair, man. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You can't mistake that hair.
And I like Sal's hair because he has like the fade, but then he has like the color on the top, and then he has the zigzag lines in it. I don't think I could pull that off, but maybe I'll try.
I don't know. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, let's try. Maybe we'll
Stay tuned. We'll debut it after this episode. What has been the most surprising part about being a Major League Baseball player?
Surprising part. Other than, I mean, how crazy this game is, how fast it is, how much it changes, the pitchers, stuff like that. That's probably the craziest part. Is the talent level is only getting better.
It's insane.
And it's one of those things. It's like because I go home and I watch it on TV and I'm like, okay, like I can see where the general public kind of sees.
Thinks it looks easy.
Yeah, but then when you get in the box or you get out on the field, like yesterday, Luis Robert hit a ball to me 118 miles per hour, which I was like, that almost broke my hand.
It was an insane play, first of all.
Thank you. But yeah, so I think that's one of the more surprising things, and also like how good the lifestyle is. We're fortunate enough with good flights, good food, and just kind of playing in the best stadiums in the world, which is really cool. But I'd have to think how much this game is changing, how good people are.
Seriously,
the talent level is pretty remarkable.
I would love to hear your take on being one of the elder gentlemen in the locker room nowadays.
Yeah, it's weird. Because we went from, I was probably 10th on the list, and now I'm like 5th.
For reference, you are 27 years old.
27 years old. I turned 27 in March, so it's not like I was just 26.
Just the other day, I was 26.
So that's one of the things that's like, it's pretty crazy that just like that, it can change. And obviously the guys that, we traded, still to keep in touch with them. And, but yeah, it's crazy how things can change that fast, but it puts me in a good spot. Yeah. I like leading. I like being a leader. I like being a voice in the clubhouse. If that's what it is. Obviously, we still have Sal and we have Dozier, Michael Taylor, Greinke, but to be able to be in that situation where I'm kind of that buffer between the old guys. I'm saying old, but Sal, and then like the young guys. Sometimes when it's intimidating sometimes when you want to go and ask a question, you don't want to go to Sal. Like for me, it was like, do I want to go and ask Alex Gordon a question when I can ask a Hunter Dozier? Yeah. Which I still, you guys know me, I'm a very talkative guy. I like to talk. So I went to Gordo sometimes, but to be that Dozier, so to speak, to be that guy that's, that buffer in between a 10 or 13 year veteran. Yeah. It puts me in a good spot.
And you get to this place too in your career where, and you mentioned it, going to that spring training game, and being like, oh my God, I'm in the big league lineup. And that's just spring training, right, which is great. And you're just trying to like kind of survive. Now you're at this point in your career where it's like those guys, the Bobbies, the MJs, those guys are looking at you and looking at how you go, not just about results on the field, right, but looking at how you go about your business in the clubhouse, how you react when you don't have a great game, how you react when you have a great game. Yesterday it's like, yesterday it's a great game, the next day maybe not as much. How do you go from there? So you're going from, I'm just trying to survive, to being like, I'm a role model now, and these guys are looking at me for more than just the numbers, but how I'm contributing in the clubhouse, how I'm carrying myself off the field. Is that special? Is that a good feeling for you? It
is special, and it's actually something I still need to kind of get used to, because obviously there are eyes on you. People are going to come to you more often, so you kind of have to, like you said, lead by example, but also lead on and off the field. But I've been, people ask me questions, get texts all the time, and I like lending that helping hand and that be that voice for them. But it is something that I obviously still have to get used to, and still am getting used to. But hopefully I can continue doing this for a lot of years.
Well, we've loved chatting with you today, getting to know you a little bit more, excuse me. Is there anything else you would like, the fans to know about you, or anything else you want to plug? You're so involved in so many great aspects in the community. Anything else you want to plug before we head out?
Yeah. Obviously Nickys Number Ones is a charity I started. I'm very into it. I went to basically Nickys Number Ones is to be a positive role model to the youth in the Kansas City area. So I work with the Challenger program, the YMCA Challenger program, Operation Breakthrough, which is the inner city kids. I work with the special needs kids often, and then I also go to the Children's Hospital. But basically go there. I started this in 2019 because of COVID. We'd had to do only Zoom calls and wasn't able to meet with them in person. But now we had a successful day at the K where we had the YMCA Challenger program here, and basically just be a light to them, be a role model, be someone who they can look up to, ask questions, whatever that may be, see me on TV, and, gives them a little smile on their face. And
for sure.
It means a lot to me too, because it lights up my day. But I just started that, and it's kind of taken off right now. So it's been something very special and something I'm very proud of. So I just want to say, Nickys Number Ones, and I just wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We are so grateful for everything you do for our organization, but also in our community. Like you just said, Nickys Number Ones is a good representation of that. But you are always, whenever we have things with the fans, you're one who signs quite often, and so you are just great in the community in all aspects. So thank you so much for all that you do for Kansas City as a whole. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Chatting with us. It was a pleasure to have you, and come back again some other time.
We'll do.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. It was a pleasure to have you here today. Remember, subscribe, because we'll be back with new episodes every homestand. We'll see you again next time.